Why being born as Rihanna sucks? Many people don't attach much importance to this because human perception is simple. We see the outcome and automatically assume it's a blessing. We see a silhouette on stage, a confident gaze, millions of listeners, financial independence, influence, and it feels like the peak of personal evolution. But if you look longer than usual, if you don't turn away the moment it becomes uncomfortable, a different picture starts to appear: quieter, colder, and far more honest. If you're watching this video, it might not be accidental. Maybe you've already felt that strange question forming inside you. Why do some people who reach the absolute top seem to slowly disappear from their own lives? I'm not talking about rumors, gossip, or scandals. I'm talking about structure, about the mechanism, about what happens to a person when their fate stops being private. Rihanna is not just an artist. She is a phenomenon constructed from layers of decisions, expectations, and projections. But at the very beginning, there was a girl who had no protection, no distance, no chance to grow up slowly. When you're born into an ordinary life, you're given time to make mistakes quietly. When you're born as a future symbol, that time is taken away. Your personality doesn't mature. It gets accelerated. No one asks whether you're ready to carry the weight of other people's expectations because those expectations already exist, and someone has to fulfill them. Many people don't attach much importance to this because they believe talent is a shield. But talent is not a shield. It's an amplifier. It amplifies joy, pain, pressure, and loneliness alike. The first thing that breaks in a life like this is the sense of belonging to yourself. You're constantly visible, and that field of visibility starts shaping you faster than you can understand what's happening. You begin to look at yourself through other people's eyes because your own are no longer enough. You learn to exist through reflections, comments, rankings, headlines, numbers, and gradually a strange feeling appears. You exist, but not entirely. Parts of you are always somewhere outside, living in other people's interpretations. It's hard to describe this feeling, but easy to recognize. It's when you no longer understand where the role ends and where you begin. Many people don't attach much importance to this because from the outside it looks like confidence, but on the inside it feels like constant tension that never releases. Then comes a new kind of loneliness, not domestic, not physical, but existential. You're surrounded by people, yet each of them interacts not with you, but with the image. Even closeness becomes conditional, because anyone who gets too close has to pass through the filter of your status. They either want something or are afraid of losing something. Sincerity becomes rare and suspicion becomes normal. Some point you stop trusting even your own feelings because you're no longer sure where they come from within or from the script others expect you to follow. Many people don't attach much importance to this because they consider loneliness the price of success. But it's not a price. It's a side effect of losing equality with the world around you. The next layer is control, so subtle it's hard to recognize. No one locks you in a cage physically. On the contrary, you're allowed almost everything. And that's exactly the trap. Freedom without the ability to refuse is not freedom. You can release music or not release it. You can appear or disappear, but every step you take is instantly interpreted, analyzed, turned into a sign. Your silence becomes louder than words. Any pause demands an explanation, and gradually you realize, even when you're silent, you're still working. Many people don't attach much importance to this because they think silence equals rest. But for a symbol, silence is a system alarm. Over time, a fatigue builds that sleep can't fix. It's the fatigue of constant composure, of having to be something bigger than a human being. You don't have the right to weakness in the ordinary sense. Any crack immediately becomes public property. Any pain turns into content. And you learn to hide your real sensations deeper and deeper, because you understand that the world doesn't know how to be gentle with what it doesn't truly own. But right now it's important to notice this. When someone lives too long in symbol mode, they start disappearing from their own life. And this is where the tension intensifies, because the world doesn't like it when symbols malfunction. It demands explanations. It demands returns. It demands continuation. Most people don't notice the signals, the slowing down, the pauses, the shifts in focus, because they're used to constant flow. But events don't happen randomly. When someone stops being visible, it often means they're trying to reclaim the invisible part, the part that was never meant for public consumption. Many people don't attach much importance to this because they prefer simple versions of reality, but simple versions are rarely true. And here's the question that directly concerns you. Because Rihanna's story is not an exception, it's an extreme form of what happens to anyone who becomes a function too early. Understanding this gives a rare advantage. You begin to see where success ends and loss begins. You become more attentive to moments when you're praised too loudly and listened to too little. You start to understand that not every opportunity is a gift, and not every form of growth is development. If you're watching this video, it might not be accidental. Maybe you too recognize the feeling of being expected to perform a version of yourself rather than simply be present. I'm not saying that being Rihanna is a mistake. I'm saying it's a path that strips you of the right to an ordinary life. It's an existence where every step carries weight, every choice has consequences, and every pause invites interpretation. It's a life where the cost of success isn't obvious because it isn't measured in money or status. It's measured in distance from yourself. And in that sense, being born as Rihanna is shitty, not because there's too little light in that life, but because there's too much of it. And it blinds. Stay attentive to the stories you're told and to the ones you're living yourself. Sometimes the greatest advantage is the ability to remain unseen and still be real.